True Reviews back with another top 10 topic. Don't you just love it when you're playing a game and you've been working really hard to get through it and you badly need some decent items and then all of a sudden you pick up something crap and think, hey, why the hell did someone think it'd be a good idea to have this item programmed into the game? Well, this list is dedicated to some of the most pointless items in video game history that I have had the unfortunate pleasure of stumbling across. The rules for this list are that the item in question must either not serve its original purpose correctly, must hinder the player in some way, or may be hugely undermined by a better item in the same game. So here it is. Stun grenades on Resident Evil 5. We start off this time with some zombies. The stun grenades in this game are a complete waste of time. They take up one valuable square in your already overfull inventory, you can only carry 3 in one inventory slot, and there's no real time when you'll need to use it. Normally you need to kill the enemy, not blind them, and what's the use in blinding these guys when you have no ammo left or can't run away from them? And to make matters worse, these grenades must have been made in Soviet Russia, because grenade stuns you. If you actually decide to use one of these, instead of picking up extra ammo, like you should have been doing, then you'll get stunned in the process. This has happened every time I've used one, and because I get stunned as well, I've never actually seen if the grenade works on zombies, so it could be there just to f*** you off.
Around of you who might be German spies? 9. 9?
The plasma gun on Deus Ex. Although not being a complete fail of a gun, this weapon is made completely redundant by one simple fact. You get the GEP gun right from the very start of the game, which is pretty much all you need in the way of big guns here. First found during your escape from the MJ-12 facility in New York, the plasma gun takes up a huge portion of your inventory space and requires a huge amount of ammo to go with it in order to make it an effective gun, and this ammo is much rarer than the rest. But why would you want to go to all this trouble catering for this big ass gun when you already have a big ass gun from the word go that inflicts more damage? Most enemies are killed in one sitting with the GEP gun, whereas there's no guarantee of that happening with the plasma gun. The only real advantage of this gun is that it blinds your opponent, but that's only the case if an enemy is using it on you and not the other way around. Moral of the story? Use something else.
I'll teach you all this in easy steps, course of a lifetime you'll never forget.
Cigarettes on Metal Gear Solid 2. Almost completely pointless to have in the previous game, and even more so in this, the cigarettes serve only as a conversation piece in this franchise. Cigarettes are used for... what else? Smoking in this game. Their real purpose is to reveal infrared lasers when you smoke near them, in order to reveal a safe passage around them. Only problem is, they also damage your health every time you light up. But I mean, you actually lose health. And not just a slight amount, you lose more than you'd expect. Imagine that happening in real life, where you have people outside of bars and clubs smoking a few cigarettes and then falling over dead. Does this happen at work? You walk out for a fag break and light up next to your co-worker. Hey, how's your day been? Oh, terrible. The boss has been all over my ass on this assignment. It's getting to me. I'm so stressed. This is like my 5th cigarette I've had today. Wait, your 5th? Wait, no, don't take another breath! And then he falls over dead and you're like, no! As you fall to your knees and cry out the sky, which has actually started raining heavily to set the mood, and you're like, why did you not pay attention to the health bar in Metal Gear Solid? That was an indication of the hazard smoking has on your health. This situation where you need the smokes only arises once in the previous game, but in the second one, it's not required at all. Only Solid Snake has them in the tanker chapter, and as far as I can remember, the laser beams can be bypassed in that level by crawling underneath them. And Otacon warns you about them before you walk into them anyway, so why would I need to use the cigarettes when I have Otacon to tell me what's going on?
Lane Goodman.
7!
Time from Deus Ex. Yep, we're going back to that game again. I've never truly realised up until now how much drugs are present in that game. You can smoke, drink, and do hardcore blow in the form of Zyme as well. Zyme was created in underground labs in the Deus Ex universe, unlike our modern day drugs that are made by communists and hippies that want to prove to the capitalist world that they don't need consumerism to live by doing loads of drugs as a means of sticking it to the man. When JC Denton drinks a bottle of beer, his vision starts going fuzzy. Okay, he's feeling it after one beer. What a lightweight. But if he drinks a whole load more, the screen starts going apeshit. The best way of describing it is as if JC has sellotaped a pair of binoculars to his face and is now constantly rolling his head around. Now, this is a gradual process if using alcohol, but when JC uses Zyme, the effects are instant. One hit of Zyme, and he goes from badass indoor glasses wearing motherfucker to strapping a pair of binoculars to his face and running round and round. This item does not serve any purpose except to get you frustrated because you're having to wait for the damn screen to go back to normal. Personally, I can't see why this drug's addictive.
Number 6!
The Piece of Eden from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. For the first 2 games, players were bombarded with tales about the legendary artifact known as the Piece of Eden. Having apparently been created by an ancient alien race of humanoids, the artifact grants the user the ability to cast a false sense of reality to whoever looks upon it. In the first game, Al-Mualim uses it to create copies of himself, and in the second, Rodrigo Borgia uses it to cause seismic shocks to throw Ezio about the place. We've heard about it, hunted it, killed for it, and even seen it, but up until this point, we've done all except use it. But finally, in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, we, for the first time, as a species, sorry for the breed moment, we get to use that bad boy against others. But it isn't until we try to kill someone with it that we realise that this thing is a piece of shit. The controls for using it are simple, but that does not make it easy to use. By holding down the attack button, you can determine the area of influence it will have, and if anyone is caught in the middle, then they'll get staggered. Anyone caught right next to you will be instantly killed, but the main problem with it is that every attack uses power that, once it's been used, you must wait for to recharge. This is a massive problem in crowded fights, and you'd think that you could just switch back to your normal weapons, but no, you're only allowed to use the Piece of Eden, which means that your rectum is about to get a cock overhaul. You're more effective in battle using your normal weapons than you are using the Piece of Eden, which makes no sense, because this is supposed to be the most powerful artifact in the world. But the fact that all of your other weapons are more preferable makes it a definite on this list. Piece of Eden. More like piece of shit.
And my wife is dead.
I'm sorry to hear that.
High five!
The Daikatana! From where else? Daikatana! You just love hearing me say that in that sexy accent, don't you? Well, brace yourself for yet another reason on the never-ending list of what's wrong with this f***ing game. For the most part throughout this game, the weapons you get are pretty good. They're very inventive and original, very easy to use and handle, and there's usually plenty of ammo about the place to keep them working. But then you have the Daikatana, the legendary sword that the game is named after, and that allows time travel for only a random Japanese martial arts master, some bitch that no one cares about, and a stereotypical 1980s American black man? The fact that the game is named after this weapon kind of suggests that it's pretty good. Oh, correction, that should be pretty f***ing good. Let's have a look at other games that have been named after weapons which are also pretty f***ing good. Halo. Metal Gear. Broken Sword. Not a good analogy. Pokemon. Yeah, think about it, they're technically a weapon. You get the impression. So here you think we'd get something half decent with the Daikatana, won't we? Oh, well I guess that's the other decent half gone then. It's just a normal f***ing sword. I thought that this sword was supposed to be all badass. This sword was said to have supposedly defeated the Mishima dynasty, yet I'd do better with throwing discs than this. Bloody waste of time if you ask me.
There are 4 lights!
Be in a Jar in Zelda A Link to the Past. I love this game. I really do. Whether you played it back in the day of the SNES or if you have it on the Game Boy Advance, this game is simply enchanting. For me, this is Zelda gaming at its best. Nowadays we have Link in 3D, which is all well and good, but for me, it's not a true Zelda game unless it's in 2D. This particular game is supposedly, but I've given up trying to figure out the Zelda timeline, supposedly set before the original Zelda game. After being called telepathically by Princess Zelda, Link is thrown headlong into an adventure that will inevitably take him across all of Hyrule and into the long-lost Dark World to battle against the evil Ganon. Along the way, Link meets some strange and wonderful characters and comes across some strange and wonderful items. And then there's shit like this, a bee in a jar. What could Link possibly have in mind when he has a bee in a jar? By using the butterfly net on fairies, and by making sure that there is an empty jar in your inventory, you can capture these fairies for later as emergency health. Thing is, if you do the same around bees, then you end up capturing a bee and putting it into a jar. From then on, this item becomes completely useless. It's a stupid bee in a jar, and I hate it. Bee in a jar. Shall I tell you what it is? A bee in a jar is not only a bee in a jar, but it's also a waste of a jar. I could use that jar for better things like putting medicine and potions into it, or by using it to hit bees with. It's also a waste of a bee. That thing could have been putting its time to better use by making me some motherfucking honey, while I go around making money by cutting down bushes with my sword, instead of sitting in my goddamn jar. The sight of Link cutting down bushes makes me laugh. It looks like he's gardening. Yeah, the King of Hyrule came up with a brilliant idea of getting Zelda to pretend that she's in danger and needs Link's help. Because that's the only way that Link's going to go over all of Hyrule, trimming the hedges looking for money, and that way the king doesn't have to hire anyone to do the gardening. Win-win, eh?
1, 2, 3, follow me, let me got 180 degrees.
The Ring of Burden in Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. An item that we are all too eager to get rid of. During the Shadenhall Mage's Guild acceptance mission, you were contracted to locate the Ring of Burden, a ring that was being used in a study on alteration. After a long and arduous trek around the back of the building, you come across a well. Upon entering, the player will find him or herself in a small underwater area with a dead body floating in it. Hygienic. After searching the dead body, you'll find the Ring of Burden and oh my god, it's named like that for a reason. The thing weighs like 150 pounds in gear, which makes no sense. Unless you've never played this game before, or like me, you're an obsessive hoarder, chances are you'll get over encumbered after retrieving the ring, and then you'll either have to drop off some gear, or be stubborn and not drop anything off, and end up drowning instead. And after all of this, when you finally manage to bring it back to the guild, one of the guild members tells you to, and I quote, just drop it anywhere. Well, if you were going to tell me to get rid of the damn thing, then why didn't you just tell me not to go and find the ring and just focus on the missing mage instead? God, bloody cheek of it.
Finally, we come to my number 2 man. His name? Number 2.
The Blackwood Ring of Silence, also from Oblivion. Well, whilst the last one weighs you down, this one does something else. What's the point of having items in a video game? That's right, to make your life easier. Whether it's in the form of health or armour, guns and ammo, to quest items that will let you progress further into the story, or to that which enhances your abilities or even grants new ones. Well, here we have the Blackwood Ring of Silence, and this actually kills you if you use it. Although this item is never given to you directly, you can loot this item off the body of a dead Argonian who's just given you a live demo, so at least you know it's bad. But if you try putting it on, then you'll die too. After that Argonian uses it to kill himself, this item becomes redundant in this game. You're not going to use it on yourself because you'll die too, and no one else will pick it up because it's in some guy's house on a corpse. After this mission has ended, this ring will never get used again, making it one damned pointless item. The Deputy Badge in Fallout New Vegas. It does nothing. It does nothing. It actually does nothing. It's good for nothing, and it does nothing, and it's also worth nothing. So, if it's good for nothing, and it does nothing, and it's also worth nothing, then can someone please explain to me why the did I just go back and forth across the Mojave Desert like a typewriter, looking for those rare and sought-after Sunset Sarsaparilla-star bottle caps, only to have old Fetus give me a story, and then send me over to a locked room with like several hundred of these deputy badges in it? Okay, so there was also a bit of money to be had too, but these deputy badges are supposed to be the reward you get. You can't even wear the damn things, and they have an estimated value of cool. My shit's worth more than those badges. What an insult! To have us spend ages looking for those bottle caps just to get bent over a snooker table and then receive a long and unnecessary prostate checkup, except with some guy's cock instead of a hand. It's almost as bad as that quest in Oblivion, finding your roots. We have to go around collecting plants. But at least you get something out of it. Okay, it might not have been the best reward, but there may be actually times when you need to use that potion, so at least you get something from it. Not at all like here, where you don't get anything in bits and you just get shit for completing it. This has made me mad now. I'm just gonna go and eat a squirrel live and whole, because this quiz has pissed me off. Well, that's it for that one. But if you would like to see me eat a squirrel live and whole, then come and cheer me on or hurl abuse at the True Review website or at True Review on Facebook. All this talk of eating animals is making me horny. Damn. Or if you're interested in seeing me horny, then come to the True Review web... Oh, yeah, already done that bit. But yeah, there's going to be quite a bit. Me eating a squirrel live whilst getting horny. Quite a show for you. Come check it out. I won't really be doing any of that. You knew that, though, didn't you?
Good day, citizen. Welcome to the Certa Foundation Outlet Anza Care Award.
I couldn't help but notice your prices. They seem a bit steep.
With respect, the Foundation is not concerned with profits. A portion of our sales funds research to cure genetic diseases.
You know what would make your services more popular? An endorsement from the man who defeated Saren.
Oh my! You're Shepard, aren't you? I would be glad to give you my employee discount if you would do that for us.
It's a deal.
Just speak into my console here.
I'm Commander Shepard, and
This is my pawn shop. I work here with my old man and my son.
Joker?
Everything in here has a story and a
Reapers?
One thing I've learned after 21 years, you never know what is going to come through my ass.
I'll work it into our advertising at once. Thank you.